All right, here we go. Good morning, folks. Good morning to Johnny and Paul Cutler and C. Grover and DJ Devin. Probably doesn't feel like morning, but appreciate that you are sticking around, tuning in. Definitely have a nice sleep whenever you do sleep. All right. Should be good on, yeah, it looks like we got sound into OBS. I think we get the chats over here. Afternoon here does not feel like morning. That's true. Definitely a good point. Morning for me, but good day, I should say. Happy Saturday, nonetheless. If it is Saturday, which it also might not be. But Paulus K, how's it going? Got our chats. Is this one? 1 second here. Almost ready. There we go. Okay. We're jumping in hot this morning. I probably will end up wrapping it up a bit earlier than normal. That's also why I'm starting a bit earlier than normal, to give us a little bit more time. But I got some stuff going on this afternoon as well. So yeah, that's where we're at today. Is we'll be wrapping it up. I may come back in the evening, do another stream. I don't know. It'll just kind of depend on how the day goes. But figured I would hop on a bit early because I was ready, and this will give us a chance to do a little bit more. So let's get the camera here, and I'm going to start on taking a look at Paul SK's version of this Asteroid mining game that we built a couple weeks back now for CircuitPython Day. Here we are. So Paul has tinkered around with this and made a new version of it that behaves a bit different, made some improvements to some different parts of it. So that's definitely really cool. Happy to see folks creating new stuff with it. So thank you, Paul, for making this and sharing it. I'm going to take a look at it here and then see if we can't figure out what's going on with the... basically, after the second game, it doesn't seem to start up correctly anymore. If I understand right. Gets kind of stuck at the end of the second round, or at the end of the first round, and then the second round doesn't go, one of the two. I'm not sure the exact number, but I think we'll be able to see it. It's like, after we play a few rounds, then it gets stuck at the end, is what it sounds like. I will go and clone this version of it. Some background. Realm places with bright and shiny. I hear other sounds radio. Oh, okay. Interesting. Let me turn it down some. Or really, let me just do... Oh, interesting. I wonder if we're on the wrong...
Check. Do we still have sound? Sound, yeah, looks like we do. We're on the display, just on the REPL. Okay, no score. It doesn't end up showing the scoreboard, which is what it would ordinarily do at the end of the round. That's what it's intended to do. I am rocking some music. I guess I had it up a little loud. There's a noise gate on the microphone. I don't know if it's if it needs tweaked or something. What I'll do is I'll put this song into my buds here. That way we don't risk. Because ordinarily it cuts it out pretty good, but one thing I don't want is the video to get like copyright strike or the sound to get messed up on Twitch or anything like that. So you want to definitely make sure we get the music filtered out. And this will not leave it up to chance or noise gates or anything else. I'm coming in fine. All right, thank you. Yeah, background was picked up. Okay. What stuff you got done on the clock yesterday? The animation is looking great. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. And yeah, I totally agree. It is coming along well. Next stuff to do, I think, will be generate some slightly fancier tiles. I'm going to see if I can make some rounded rectangle ones, and probably we'll play with colors a bit, and maybe try to do gradients. See if we can do gradients. I'm not sure about that one, but But one thing is, I think there will be a folder already, right? Or I guess not. Maybe mine was in a different name, I think, and then I gave it the repo name afterward. Let's go to, yeah, this is one, I should maybe move my device workspace. I find is this device workspace. So PyCharm, when you do file open, it leaves you in the folder that the project that you're looking at is in. And my device workspace project is in a different place than all my repos. Probably should just change that. Because then I do file open and I can't, I mean, I could go and find stuff, but I have to like navigate up and down a bit, whereas this way it's like all in the directory that I wanted to go to. What was that? Space mining game, is that? CircuitPython space mining game? Yeah. Window. Sounds okay now. Okay. Yeah, thank you for the heads up though. To be honest, like I definitely do not want, because I mean it is just music. It's the music I'm jamming along to over here, and I don't. It is certainly copyrighted, and it will certainly cause trouble if it makes it into the stream. So I do appreciate the heads up that some of that was coming through. Um, grab code. We'll grab. We'll probably need all of these things, right? Level codes. Oh no, this is my old level codes thing. That didn't end up getting used. Space Miner helpers and CodePy. Probably the assets we could keep the same. And there is README with some information about the modifications. So this is awesome. Thank you again. Huge thanks to Paul, Hug Reports for sure. For like taking this project and iterating further on it. I'm super excited to see folks take it and build something more onto it and stuff. Awesome. Copy that stuff. I will I'll just back up the ones that I have on here. Which here. Paste. Score at the end. Let's see, is the score at the end already in a high score? Or perhaps the same score as another round, total score? Run into that before programming a different game a long time ago where you get the same high score and it would fail. I think I handled the same high score case all right. I do think I handled that case all right. And what it does is if you get a number that's already on the high scoreboard, second guessing myself now. I want to say I made it only keep one. But now that I actually started saying it, I'm actually not 100% sure. I do remember handling that case, but I don't remember exactly what we did. If we allowed it to be on there, or maybe allowed the multiples up until 4 and then started shaving it down to just 1. It might be something like that. Maybe we allowed the multiples, but then once we filled up, then we started removing them to put on other numbers or something. I don't know. I'll have to take a look, I guess. I do not remember for sure. Could be something to do with the score. It sounds to me like it's probably something to do with either hiding or showing something at the wrong time. Or, yeah, probably that. Something causing something to either hide or show incorrectly at the wrong time would be my first guess, I think. Let's see. Score at the end. Oh, yes. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, I totally am thinking the Octopus game high score, aren't I? Yeah, we didn't do high score in the same way with this one. We just had it print at the end. Yeah. Good call. It's froze out on me. Okay. Yeah, no, I do think we just printed the score, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. So let's see. Let's see. You need to remember: is it A to start or is it start and it's B to no? Got hit. So one of the things we have is variable laser speed now, I think. I don't think I changed, but it does feel faster than I recall. So here's our round end. We got -11 because we missed 16 ores and we got hit a couple of times, or at least once. So then is it, need to go familiarize myself with the interface. So we have ores, laser speed 3, laser power, and hit points. So you added, I think, laser speed. I didn't do that one, I believe. So that's awesome to see new stuff in here. You change your laser speed by going up and down there. It does, let's see, this is, see if that moves while it's hidden. See here, so laser speed 4, so I'm going to go up 1 here. Does this change in the background there? Didn't, okay, it stayed on 4. I do notice it doesn't seem like we can go up down this list anymore, or maybe we need to go, I see, okay, left, right in this list, okay. Laser power. And so some of these you'd have to spend the ore on, which is part of what we did set up during the game jam, although I don't think I have enough ore actually to purchase anything. We'll see. Let's just let it go back around to another round here. Oh, wrong button again. Oh, missed it. Oh, I got that one. Ah, there we go. We got to positive. Ore's down, ore's missed. Back to here. Again. At the end of this round, I think, maybe. Oh. I did accidentally press A right as it ended. I wonder if that had any effect on anything. I did end up getting this round to end. Let's see if we can go here. Up again. Oh. Next upgrade we need to add for sure. What I will do if whenever I do work on it next, what I want for sure is multiple lasers will be another upgrade that we'll add so that you can purchase additional laser power. We won't call it laser power, I guess, but additional laser bullets, for lack of a better term. But hopefully we'll come up with something better than that so that you can have multiple lasers out at once. I did end up, it does seem like I do get the score. Do another round quick and then I'll. Ooh, so close. Oh, camera hiccuped there. Go. The laser speed, one thing we could do also is you could have laser speed be one of the ones that you spend your ores on. Let's see. That I added some prints to the REPL to show certain red flag states be to start. Here. Problem is no score on the display, just the REPL at round 2 or more. But it did seem like I was getting. Or is it any different then? Oh, well, let's see. I didn't have the REPL open, actually, so we won't be able to see the older ones. But I'll open it now, and we'll be able to see the next one at least. Does this pop out? Can you pop out? Interesting. I don't know if I'll like it, but we'll give this a try for a minute here. Is that covered up? No. Oh, wow. I got so lucky on that top one there. No, we got the same. Round number 6. Laser types. Yeah, different laser types. The double lasers also I think will be cool. That's like a pretty common one for this type of game, I think. Maybe lasers that are like slightly smart targeting or whatever. Like they'll scan a little area around them, and if there is an ore in that area, then they'll nudge themselves closer to the ore, so they kind of like magnet attract themselves to it a little bit. As like a late game kind of power up thing. Like those near misses would turn into hits. It wouldn't attract it from like across the screen or anything, but it would turn a near miss into a hit. Headed laser. Don't think I've ever seen it. Nice. I do think something like that would be cool. I like the idea of the unlocking it, making it stuff just easier and easier to rack up higher and higher scores. Um, are you on the same exact device? I think I saw you did get a Pico system device. Is that the same one that you're playing the game on, Paul? As I am, I do see the score. So it's basically like when you run it, you get the. You said it's stuck on the end of the game frame, I think. And it only shows the score in the REPL. So you see this stuff printed, but not on the display. Scores printed the REPL and not the display. The display shows the last game situation frozen. Yeah, and that is a Pico system. During the second round at the round in state, set for game over. I do like keeping the health down as well, because I think another thing I'll do eventually is you can purchase to repair your ship in the shop. So like you'll be able to spend ore to repair your ship. That will get your hit points back. Number rounds. The added function show score. The other one, I think. Or hides all lasers. Hides all ores. I do think we saw this, right? We have power-ups when I was in the menu system playing with stuff. Could be. Although I think I changed the laser speed only. I never did actually spend any ore, so maybe it could be something due to spending the ore. Could change it. So round in label text. The game over versus round end. One ores down, ores missed. Game over. Maybe it's because I hadn't gotten a game over before. Did I end up with getting a game over before? I had rounds over. Maybe I hadn't gotten a game over before. So let's get run into some more. Game over, we did get this one. Again. Oh, this is like my best round, I think. Can't believe I got all of those. Of course, now I started talking about it. Round end. Yep. Do it though. I think that was the camera that froze there, not the actual game. Not looking at it, so I can't be sure, but doesn't matter if game over happens in 2 or more, the score will not be shown. So then yours is doing basically differently than mine, right? Just to make sure I understand, because mine is showing the scores, it seems like, at the end of every round. I wonder, what could change it between ours, though? Hey, stop. Play with the stripy cat. Trim is much happier. I've been using F-string since watching me. Nice. Yeah, I only more recently, probably within the last year or so, really made the change to like actually using them pretty much all the time. I think around whenever we got it support for them on the small devices, on the M0s and stuff. I mean, I saw these time sleeps that were put in. These could. This fork also shows the score after every round. I see. So then, let me see. Do I understand correctly? Then it's in my version where it doesn't show the score after the end of the round if it's greater than 2. But in your version it does? Do I understand that right? Score. Could be the sleep? I would not think this would affect it, but this does sometimes do weird things that I don't expect. Problem is the same in your fork. So, but it is different than what's happening on my device, right? Because my device does seem to be showing it correctly in between. So on yours, though, you're still having it not show in between? Guess that's the part I'm confused, is trying to figure out if my game when I play it here is doing the same thing that yours is or not. And it seems like it's not, because I am seeing the score each time. But maybe I'm misunderstanding. Oh. I did take this sleep out. We'll see if I'll get up. Oops, I'll try to get up. I'll try to get up to over 2 at least. And then we'll see if anything different. Probably shouldn't have parked the mouse right there, but too late now. Oh my. Okay. And oh, nope. Okay, wow. -5. That was the game over there. Over. Didn't make it to round 2 that time. Oh, we did for a split second right there. We did see the end of the old game, I think. Round end. Round end. But that was round 2. This one's round 3. It should be greater than 2. Well, I didn't put the terminal up. I got the terminal back there too, so we'll be able to look back at the prints. Looks okay now on your device. Round number 3. Where it does seem like I was able to take out that sleep. Sleep 5, the first one of these. And I did still make it up to round 3. Let me try another one. Really might just want to play another round. This game's actually getting pretty fun. I do like the way this game's shaping up for sure. Oh. Oh, that whole line of them there. Clear. Interesting. The more asteroids visible, the more ores, it slows the rest of the stuff down a little bit. It's interesting because it kind of makes it. You know what's weird is I did see. Well, that could be the. Maybe that was the trick of the camera or a trick of the stream back to this computer. It did feel like all this text was like down here and came upwards somehow, which is odd because it. I think we're changing the Y value or anything. No problem. Problem is the same in your fork. Time.sleep was just to try to find the solution. Looks okay now on your device. That is weird. Can't imagine what. I cannot imagine what the difference could be. I'll double check my. What version of CircuitPython are you on? Let's see. I'll grab mine as well. Put that in the chat there. On 8.0.0 beta 0. Maybe there was. It could be perhaps a bug in display IO in an older version or something. It could be possible. This gets overlaid on this. 2.0.0 beta 0. Weird. I think we use, let's see. Load display text. Progress bar shouldn't really be affecting the game over screen or the round over screen. So of all the libraries, the one that would seem like the most likely culprit to me if it was like a bug in a library maybe would be display text. Maybe there's different versions of display text out there that can you do, I don't know if you can do upgrade. That works. Install no option upgrade. Already installed. Is it update? Option up. Just update. I'll look at the actual. With it. Well, but that's like individuals. Okay, yeah, I think I run into this. Lookup update does everything. I think maybe there's not maybe there's not a way to do update a single library. Should add that if not. Update all modules, yeah. Use all. Do it without warnings. Lists all out of date module. Hey, let go. A problem of no score from round 2 or more. Same device, same CPU, something's gotta be different. Guys, libraries, update reasons, minor play shapes. There's a new version, minor versions there. I'll go, let's run updates. Circa update, can I just run it like that? Done all. Oops. Now I didn't. Latex libraries from March 28th. I would try a newer one. There have been some changes. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't think there's been anything that could affect that, but I may also just not know it off the top of my head. That's definitely possible. Had issue creating shapes with the latest beta and libraries. Very slow rendering. If you wait a couple of minutes, does the score appear? Yeah, we do use, what do we use Vector IO for? Oh, the background for the shop. Not quite used to this being outside. Display shapes, polygon color. I think in our case we don't have anything specifically display shape. Polygon color, fill, instantiation of the triangle display shape significantly slower. Rendering time for a filled triangle is 1.8 compared to 1.6. But I guess the thing is, though, it could be very likely that something inside the core is causing the display shapes to render slowly. That could be causing other stuff to render slowly as well. Border fill is taking longer. Even though mine is on 8.0.0 and that's what you're on as well, I would try like, yeah, 2 seconds to 2.5 minutes is huge. Yeah, for sure. I would try maybe going back to 7.3.3, see if that makes a difference. Oops. This is definitely worth a try. In the majority of time in Polygon. Interesting. Yeah, that's definitely weird. I would think it's gotta be something more in the core, especially if you can take the exact same library version in 7.3.3 versus 8.0.0 causes the difference. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to try on that game, on like that round over screen. I would say definitely try 7.3.3. If you have CircUp, I would say go ahead and try running CircUp update all. That way it will update everything that's there. I did that a minute ago, and then I'll try. Let's play again here and see if we make it past the end of round. Round 2 for the 4. The impression. Oh, okay. Display text. Nice. Yeah, I don't know what. I don't recall that big of a breaking bug in there this anytime since March, but it's possible I just don't recall it, or it's possible it was undiscovered until now too. Could be something like with the old version of the library combined with the new version of CircuitPython. Fortunately, there's lots of Lots of extra variables in the mix. Hopefully that'll get it resolved for you, though. Okay, I gotta be careful not to get hit, because I do want to try to get to round end. Oh no! Shouldn't have said nothing. Okay. We did make it. We made it to game over instead of round end, and we did see the score, though. Showing game over and scores. Nice. Okay. Nothing in display text. I'll have to keep that in mind in case we have anybody else try out this game, or else even in just like the help channel or something reporting issues with labels not being visible. I wonder what that could be. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Anyway, though, thank you definitely for tinkering around with this game and sharing your results. This is awesome. I'm getting super excited to see what people take this thing and make from it, and different ways they change it, and different ideas about how it can work and stuff like that. So, really appreciate you working on it and sharing what you got. Glad that we were able to get it straightened out for you. I will probably look into this. This is definitely right up my alley of something to try to investigate. But I think it will be not today. Or at least not right now, because I do want to also look into Seagrover has a new commit for the palette fader, and I do want to look into that and get it back into our flippy clock, and then yeah, I mean that's the main thing I want to do is get the new version of this in, and then we'll swap the code back around that used to do the duplicating of the palette. We won't need that bit anymore. Oh, those aren't L's. We won't need that bit anymore, and then yeah, after that I may tinker around with the tiles some, generate some new tiles, but also, like I said earlier, I'll be cutting it off a little earlier than normal today. I got to go car shopping, basically, looking for cars. Got rid of my car, and I'm looking to get a new car, so gotta go around and take a look at some, do some test driving. By the way, did you read my PM that I changed reset round? Yeah. I was mentioning that earlier. I think I kind of mixed it in with everything else though. But yeah, I do like the text. I mean the health, the way you did the health. I do like that. Yeah, I think that's a nice change. And I do eventually what I'll do. I think I'll want a on the shop screen. Well, I'm game over now. I guess it still lets me go to shop. What I'll do is one of the things you'll be able to purchase with your ores on the shop screen will be ship repairs. So you'll be able to like, fix your ship that got damaged in the previous round by spending your ores. Which definitely then, if that's going to be the case, then we definitely don't want it to just automatically regenerate in between. So yeah, nice call on that one, and I do like that change, and I do think it'll be cool to integrate in further. Pleasure to tinker with the game on my way to learning more on the device. Nice. I'm glad to hear it. Perhaps related to this PR. Could be. April sounds like the right time frame. That would be after the one, after the March one. Setting the text to an empty string. Could be. Call for sure if we were. Call for sure if we were setting the. I think maybe that does ring a bell, setting the round over text to empty, because yeah, now I don't trust this memory fully, but so I don't know if this actually happened, but I have a vague memory of it slowing down the rest of the game, and then we put it back to empty, and that did allow the rest of the game to speed up, which struck me as odd at the time because the label wasn't showing. I wouldn't have thought that the stuff in it would affect it. Go offline for some time. Didn't have lunch yet. Okay, yeah, yeah. Enjoy your lunch. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. Hope you have a nice day, nice weekend, and all that. I'll be back. I don't really got playing with this thing. Okay. Plastic bag. Had a traumatic experience with cats in plastic bags in the past. I have another one. Thank you, by the way. I owe a thank you to on Twitch, Megora, Megorah, Megora. Thanks for the follow over on Twitch. I don't know if you're watching this one, but that was the little jingle we heard at some point during the stream last night. So appreciate the follow over there, friend. Back up as well. Actually have this open in PyCharm or buddy. Your bag away. I also yeah direction stick. I need a minute. My legs and feet from coming that way. Say hi. Come here. Come here. Finally have cat cam. Probably not for too. Only other thing I could find later than a later commit related was type annotations. Shouldn't apply to anything you've done in the game. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Well, okay, yeah, I'm gonna run and grab the little octopus on the string. Yeah, thank you. Definitely a handsome look. Okay. Already do this again. Add fader tag. this to make it a little easier to see, but I do think it did. I do think this one is good. First one, second one are the same now, and then this one is the actual modified one, the fader.palette, which is supposed to be below. Yeah, nice. Thank you. Again, this library is awesome, and I definitely appreciate you taking a look, for sure. Awesome. And so, we could then, back into our flippy clock, we could get rid of the cloned palette, which is here. Static palette. So we would basically marker static fader. Actually, we have this down here. This one now. Transparency will be carried over. Don't need any of this. And yeah, we already are using marker static fader here, so I think we are good to go on that. Oh, did need that transparent. Or those are the animation transparents. Come in. Possibly the transparency doesn't carry through the same way anymore. Let's try, we could just move these. Honestly, these should here anyway. Definitely a decent case made that should happen in here. There, but I suspect if we did this way instead. I'm gonna look at it straight on. Yeah. Sweet. So this is visually looking the same as it was yesterday, just much less complex code since we don't have the duplicated palette. So what we have is the bottom static gets darker when it's flipping down. The bottom animated gets lighter. And the top animated gets darker to match the bottom static. Top animated, bottom static go to the same darkness. Bottom animated gets lighter. top static stays the same the whole time, stays the default brightness. Sweet. Okay. And then ultimately this, I think this makes sense to be inside of here anyway, because honestly it's not, it happens to be 7 with these images. It's not always going to be 7. Um, honestly, we should have like transparent indexes. Equals an empty list. Equals an empty. You have an empty tuple? Really no point of an empty tuple is there, I guess. Can't add anything to it. And so then this should actually be for I in transparent indexes, make transparent I, and then we should pass you just do range like this? I don't know if that works. I think not, because it's like an iteratable but not a list, right? Or no, it did still work. Okay. There we go. Because different tiles could have different indexes, and they might not be the first n, right? Like I went through and manually edited my palette to have the first, X colors be the transparent ones. In my case, it turned out to 7, but you know, before it was like, maybe the first one was transparent, and the third one, and the 8th one, and the 20th one. Like it could have been all over the place. You could find those indexes and plug them into a list or a tuple here. So if yours were all over the place, you could do something like that. Plug in your own indexes and stuff would still work. Oh. It's just me or the bottom half is broken, right? I guess not. No, it's not. It's not broken. Oh, that one was a video hookup, I think. Yeah. I don't know why that was looking weird to me for a second, but I believe that's right. Because it's covering up the old number. The new one is flopping down, covering up the old one. I did slow this way down, actually. I think I did that off stream. Well, last night I was there's just a tiny bit. I slowed it down quite a bit. Top half is broken. Skipping the top half animation. Well, so sometimes it's not coming through right on the camera. I think it's showing the top half though. Top half animation. Yeah. Yeah. I think that occasionally the camera is skipping frames and not catching. It just happens to line up with parts of the animation, because there were a couple of times I did see like couple of times I did see it where it looked like it just cut from the on the top half. But I do think that's just the either I'm not sure if it's the camera itself or if it's just the stream from the camera back to my computer. But one of those two places, I think. Yeah, if we slow it way down, we can see the top half. Oh, that's probably too fast, honestly. Can't decide if I like it on the fast side or on the slow side. I like different parts of both. I like that you can see the full animation on the if you slow it down just a tad. But I also think it looks more natural sped up because like my brain knows what gravity is roughly. Like if this was a physical thing flipping down, my brain knows about how fast it should be moving. And the slower ones are definitely slower than that. What I am gonna do is actually see if we can't tinker the palettes, excuse me, the sprites a bit. Color. This is actually what my tile is ending up. This is my yellow right now, and it's called border, but obviously it's not actually a border, so let's change that. Tile color, I don't know if that's the best, but... And I actually want like a... I want to try a darker one, so I want this to be like a darker gray, and then we'll make the font white. I don't know how dark this is going to be, but it's a try. I'm going to make the padding a little bit bigger as well, which will, I think, actually make the 3D effect look more extreme. Basically, it'll make the perspective look at a more steep angle because the perspective is actually based on the padding size a little bit. Nice. Like technically these angles here, these are a little bit steeper because of the bigger padding. Fader is fairly fast thanks to ULab, but I'll refactor it to make certain the default behavior is pipelined. Nice. Oh. Catch up. My brain knows what gravity is like. Yeah. Accidentally paused YouTube. My comments were 2 minutes behind reality. Ah, I see. I've done that before as well. Yeah, I think it can like drift somehow as well. Sometimes I end up behind without pausing even, I feel like, but animation in the bottom half should be a little bit faster. That's true, probably. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, because it would accelerate. Really cool feature. Came up with that C Grover, yeah. Yeah, the palette fader is C Grover's library. Super neat. The speed. I may play with the speed. That's a good point because it would be accelerating as it falls because gravity works. Yeah. Realistically, I guess it should get faster each frame, which would also go along with maybe getting the darker each frame as well by tweaking the brightness. It's kind of like the ultimate version of this widget with all the bells and whistles would be the dynamic brightness. That's a little bit more analog, and speed being dynamic also. One thing is, eventually I'll want to try to make this so we don't end up with so many transparent colors. I don't really want to have 10. I would like it if there was just one, but because of the way the blending is happening, we're ending up with multiples. Oh, I saw one more. Okay. I'll be probably ready to go to the world after that. Again, they would be the same. Looking to like convert it to a different palette. Just looking to change in the palette. Uh, data save. Can we get data? Set data? Put palette. Figure out how to do the palette. I think that's going to be possible somehow, though. We could try to put the greens at the beginning that instead of manually. I already have a copy of these. The thing is, I think these are so big that I pretty much have to delete them in order to be able to paste the new ones. So I can't really keep both versions. Not only do I have to delete them, I have to like delete this also. Actually. When you get fancy, you could hook it up to a lux sensor as well. A visible leak in the booster tank. Just looking at it. Don't blow up. Please don't blow up. Oh. That's not good. Are they doing the launch again today? Or trying again for the launch today? Although not if there's a link, I guess, right? Oh, called off. A grill. Robed. I mean, it's not really. I mean, it's kind of a bummer. It's a bummer because, like, obviously you want to do the thing that you've been working so hard to do, but obviously a rocket exploding is a much bigger bummer. So, like, any little thing is wrong. It's definitely gotta just axe it and try again. Launch is supposed to be at 2:30. Large hydrogen link. Shouldn't be one. Hydrogen. Don't really want hydrogen hanging around. That's a bummer though. They didn't make it out for today. That one. Oh, my statics are a little yellow. What I do though is I need to save my low static. I think I actually never did actually copy that one out, so suppose maybe it's still there. It was actually index 10. I guess probably not it. Good. There we go. Like on this one, the darkness, of course I just put it at a super angle there, but on this one, the darkness would probably be a little bit more aggressive. I guess probably what we'll do is maybe add yet another, again, more arguments. Got a lot of arguments already, but good look at the leak. Oof. Static gets medium level. Darker gets darker level. Bottom animation gets... Thanks for the follow, Raising, over on Twitch. Appreciate that, friend. The lighter. Brighter? Brighter. Darker. They were going to scrub again as soon as they had another issue this morning with the quick connect. A while before they can launch. This should look the same so far, but we now have all that stuff in arguments. Back around here, we could actually pass in some new ones. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Out of curiosity, even more extreme. Start looking crazy. Dark side is awfully dark now. I actually do kind of like the brighter light, though. Yeah, like that one. What inspired you to work on this kind of clock? I saw something like it from LilyGo that looks similar. Does it have anything to do with it? Um, I mean, the short answer is Lady Ada asked me to work on it. It was, yeah, it is the LilyGo thing. This was the link that was sent to me to ask me to try to make something similar. Good job on the fader animation, Grover. Yeah, I definitely 100% agree. Honestly, the fader really does give this a nice touch that I think pulls the animation together quite a bit. I was before we got to the fader, I was thinking about doing an outline so that you'd be able to see kind of the edge of the flap as it's coming down a little bit more clearly. Because an outline of a couple pixels all the way around the edge would allow you to see that. But I think the fade actually serves the same purpose and looks better. I think this turned out better by using the fade than the outline ever would have, honestly. One thing we'll do is we'll probably end up trying to creep these up to be a little bit bigger. The size that I have them at now is the size they would need to be in order to fit 5 digits across the display. And what I did is I treated the colon as a digit, which you can actually see inside of the static sheet. It has the colon in it. Obviously, I don't have the colon showing on this one, so it's not in use anywhere, but that was how I had set this up, was the colon would just be another static thing. But looking back at this, the colon is much smaller than the tiles, right? The tiles represent each digit. The colon is probably half of that width or something, if that, and it doesn't have the background either, so um, I think what we'll do is when we make the flip clock class, we will just put in the colon as its own thing in the middle without needing it to come from the sprite sheet, potentially. Or maybe with, I guess it could still come from the sprite sheet, but we'll erase the background and we'll make it smaller, or we'll give it its own tile grid, I guess we'll have to do. Should get wider as it gets closer to you. It does. A small gradient is squished, it has the same effect as a line. One is static anyway, you could just do the last easy, yeah. It does get wider, a little bit. If you look at the animation palettes, you can see it more clearly. Not palettes, but sprite sheets. Both of them open still? Both of them open still. So this one is the bottom half, so it starts, you know, horizontal. It starts all the way out, and then as it falls, it's getting further away from you. So in this case, it's out, you know, it pokes outwards more the further up it is, and then as it goes down, it starts to tuck back in to make that square rectangle by the time it gets to the edge, and then the opposite. So this one starts square, and then as each frame goes by, it's falling further and further down, which means it's getting closer and closer to you, which means those edges are getting, perception-wise, they're getting wider and wider apart since they're moving closer to you. Might want to consider burn-in for a permanent display. Yes, that's definitely a good thing to consider. Personally, I'm not that worried about it on my device. Just this feather is not expensive enough for me to be too worried about it if mine ends up looking weird. I will say I have had this running for days at a time so far and have not noticed any issues around burn-in, but I know burn-in also tends to take more than a couple of days with lots of displays, so it's, you know, it definitely depends. The perspective trick is a great idea. Yeah, thank you. The border might help. Yeah, I do think the border would help accentuate that, but I think the shadow does essentially the same thing and I think looks better. What I will do though probably is I'll have this, I will, when I release this thing that's making the sprite sheets, I will add an option for a border. In fact, I had it before, like you saw earlier. This was called border color. I had in mind using a border before. But what I'll do is I'll put back in a border and you'll be able to maybe specify a size if you want. I like to do rounded corners as well, so that these could be like round on the top and bottom. I think that's how these ones are. Yeah. Not an image. What? No. New tab. Yeah. Line in the middle. We still need to do the line in the middle. Need to run it for months at least for burn-in. Yeah, probably. I've seen some screens that didn't last months. I've seen a couple of weird screens, not on microcontrollers, but my day job is a lot to do with screens. And over the years, there's been a few tablets and things we've ran into where they burned in after a deceptively short period of time, a couple hours even sometimes. Found a really a color of gray that was really bad for a particular screen once accidentally. About to do some math. Everybody step back. Math is incoming. Clock you'd want to have sufficiently large. Yeah, I'm thinking of just like a desktop type thing. I mean, basically to mimic what this size thing essentially is. And I do think actually this screen is probably a tad bigger than the screen that we are actually using. I don't think this is technically a feather form factor, so I'm not sure. The board looks like it's a little longer than a feather to me, but I don't actually know. But one thing is this screen pretty much goes 85-90% of the length of the board, whereas ours is, 60 or 70% of the length of the board, like closer to 70. Plasma TVs were notorious for burning. I gotcha. Never did have a plasma myself, but I've worked with some. Yours is work. Okay. I think that's where I'm gonna leave it for today. Like I said, I gotta head out and get some stuff taken care of. Looking at some cards this afternoon, so I'm gonna run and do that. That's kind of the next couple of steps I have in mind, though, are the crossbar inside here. I'd like to get the rounded edges if we can. Um, I'd like to see if we can do a gradient instead of a solid color for this box. Like I'm just doing a solid gray rectangle here. Eventually maybe we'll have a solid rounded rectangle gray, but then, maybe ultimate one is a little bit of gradient, which this one doesn't look like it has gradient. This one does look static to me, but I do think some gradient might be a nice touch. And then another thing I notice is this font is probably way bigger, but also again, because that screen is bigger, it just has room for a bigger font. We won't be able to get quite that big, but we can get a little bit bigger because we can make the colon not need the entire width of a tile, which will mean the rest of our tiles will have a little bit bigger that they're allowed to be in order to still fit 4 on the display. The other thing we could do certainly is just get a bolder font. Like this font is just not that bold compared to this one. And we do have room for a bolder font, but that's where we're at. You do get to specify the font as well, though. It's inside of Flip Clock. It just loads it as a font file here. I just took in a free to use one, so there's lots of other ones out there that we could try. The Good Times font I use has really nice numbers. The Good Times font. If you happen to have it, drop a link in the chat here, and I'll look back on it later on when I get back to this. Is there an AM PM indicator? Good question. There's not by default, I guess, or at least not in my mind. We probably will want one though. We'll probably want to put a little dot somewhere, maybe for AM PM, or another thing is like at the flip clock level. Right now I've just done the flip digit. The flip digit doesn't care about any other digits around it, but at the flip clock level, the object that will hold 4 of these digits, we could give it the option of 12-hour time and 24-hour time. If you use 24-hour time, then you don't need the AM PM indicator. But if you do choose 12-hour time, then you will. So yeah, we'll probably add an extra dot somewhere on the screen to indicate that AM PM. Yeah, 24 is what I would do personally. I prefer the 24-hour clocks, but 12 is fine too. It's not that big of a deal either way, and we can definitely add a little dot or something. Font style demo, nice. Thank you. I'll grab this link. I'll take a look at that font later on for the digits. It's huge. I like the outline. Might be interesting to add outlines to those as well, actually. Chrome effect even. Yeah, these are nice. Thank you for sharing. I will, Good Times regular. 21. Do you have the TTF or anything like that? Do you have the original one by chance? I might need something slightly smaller than 121, I'm guessing. But I can also look for it, I'm sure. Times. Find it on there. Thanks for all the help and inspiration. Yeah, you're for sure. Yeah, thank you for the fader and all the stuff. I'm always glad to hear folks are interested in what I'm working on and liking to watch over me. So definitely appreciate you as well. Yeah, I'll be back. I don't know for sure. I should be streaming sometime this week. I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do Monday. Monday is technically a day off, so I'm not gonna do a full day of work like I normally would on Monday. I think I am gonna take some time off, but I'll probably be doing a bit of tinkering, I'm sure. So I may pop the stream on a bit Monday. If not, then probably one or two nights this week, and then of course I'll be back for Friday for the deep dive. So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope everyone has a good day and a good weekend and all that stuff. Yeah, and I'll catch you next time.